Hey everybody, Cypher here, back with some more Master Duel content for you guys. The feedback from my Zoo Tri-Brigade deck profile was really positive, and some of you expressed interest in seeing some of my commentated replays so that you could see what I was thinking during the games. So that's what we're going to do here. My thought processes will be important, but I think a lot of you would benefit from seeing actual footage of how this deck actually plays. So if my deck profile and combo video got you interested, hopefully this series of replays will help sell you on the deck even further. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to see more Master Duel content, and thanks again for all your guys' support. And with that said, we'll go ahead and jump right into the replay commentary. If I'm not mistaken, I'm playing against Tri-Brigade Bird Up, and I won the coin toss here, so I'm definitely going first. So as you can see, I have Tenki and a Tri-Brigade, so that's going to give me the full combo line here. So I start by activating Tenki, grab Thoroughblade. Of course, I'm going to make my Dryden. And then Dryden's going to detach a material to pop my Tenki. Now with my Zoo in Graveyard, I'm going to make Chakanine. Chakanine's going to detach, and then special summon back the Trident. And the reason that we do this here is that if something were to happen here, for whatever reason, I could put Tiger Mortar on top of Chakanine and then put a material under Dryden. So I don't know if that line would ever actually come up, but that's the reason that I summon Dryden here instead of Thoroughblade. So now that I've got this play off, I'm going to start off with my Fractal, dump Nerval to get my kit. So this is the better part of the engine that I want. Then I'm going to turn those two Xyz monsters into Farragut and special summon my kit, but my opponent has Nibiru, so unfortunately that stops my combo here. So I'm going to trigger both Farragut and my kit, but dumping with kit here is kind of a mistake because I don't actually need to do that. That's kind of like a waste of resources, so I definitely did not need to dump with the kit. I should have just taken the Farragut draw and been happy with that. And as you can see here, I actually dumped Karis, which is not a good play because Karis, if I drew into a Karis, that would have actually been good because I could return a card, and then, because then I would take Karis, return a card, dump Fractal to special Karis, and then I could still end on Revolt at least, which would have made a much better board or interruption than what I have here. So that was definitely a mistake on my part. And of course, I drew Crossout Designator off of Farragut after my opponent Nibiru'd me, so that's just bad timing. When I drew this, I was definitely like, oh, are you kidding? So I'm definitely going to put that back, no hesitation. So we're going to set the Call by the Grave and hold Ash in our hand, and hopefully that's going to be enough to deal with our opponent. So passes over to my opponent. He plays Desire, so that's definitely something at you, Ash. No question on that. So that goes through, which is good, because now he's down to 4 cards. So hopefully my Called by the Grave is going to get me here. And he's playing, this is when I figured out he's playing Tri-Brigade Bird Up, so definitely not in a good position here. So he adds Cobalt Sparrow, which is really weird, because I wasn't sure where he was going to go with that. I thought maybe he was going to start off with a Tri-Brigade, but it's quite evident that he didn't have one, because then his line of play probably would have been really different. So he normal summons a Sparrow, and I'm like, okay, like maybe his hand's not that good. So he makes an Almirage here. So in my head I'm thinking, well, if he puts this in the graveyard, he's definitely going to play the yellow one, Barrel Canary I think it is, to pull this out of the graveyard. So my Called by the Grave is about to get some, put in some work here, and it definitely does. So I'm going to banish this. So as you can see, our Call by the Grave really got us going there because it traded for the Bird Call / the Sparrow and the Barrel Canary in his hand. So Called by the Grave trades for 2 cards, which is really powerful. So that puts me in a good position at the very most. He's still got 3 cards in hand, so turn changes to me. I draw a card for turn. I draw Nibiru, so it's not horrible. I have the Tri-Brigade in my hand, so this is still really strong. But it's not ideal because Fractal, if I make a link play with it, doesn't actually get me anything. So even though this is a Tri-Brigade, it's not optimal, but it's fine. We'll take that. So we're going to normal summon Fractal here. I'm going to start by banishing for 4 to get my Shrike. And here, the Shrike's definitely... we want to summon Shrike here because it's going to deal with the Nibiru, and then I'll have some board presence to go with. So in my head I was thinking like, well, I'll make Shrike, and that's actually where I would might miss the second Farragut here because I didn't have, or I already used it. So in my head I was thinking, it's like, well, maybe it's not that great of a play, but I went with it anyway just because it seemed like the best monster I could summon at the time. I could even summon, what's her name? I could even summon Bear Broom here, but my thought process was that Shrike's going to deal with the Nibiru at the very least, and then that's something that I would actually want. And I still have an interruption in the form of Nibiru here, and because he has 3 cards in his hand still, linking off for this to make something like Bear Broom and relying on the search off of this is not really all that impactful because I don't know what he has in his hand, so I'm not trying to play into any more potential hand traps that he has. So that's why I'm going to summon my Shrike here. For some reason he tributes Almarash here. Oh, just so he could get off the board so he doesn't take damage, I suppose. That's not bad, I suppose. I mean, he was going to take all this damage anyway, so before I decide to make any plays, I'm just going to go ahead and attack just to get the damage in. And then in main phase 2, I made the judgment call to just send a Fractal and grab a Tri-Brigade to my hand and just be happy with that for next turn. Because seeing as I have a Shrike here and I have Nibiru, so even if my opponent was to go off, the Nibiru is still going to help me out. So I start by sending with Fractal. That's going to dump my Nerval, so I'm going to try to get my Tri-Brigade, and he ashes it. So if I went for that play, that would have actually made it really weak, because if he ashed the Shrike search, I don't have any way of getting Bear Broom off the board. So in hindsight, it was a good call to not go full all in and just get the send a Fractal, try to get the another Tri-Brigade for next turn. So that's one part of the decision making process that I went with there. So he ashes the Nerval, and I just have to pass on that. So play passes back to him. He's gonna draw a card. And he starts with Tenki. Okay, so I see the Fractal here, and I'm like, well, great. Like he's got full combo. Like he can go anywhere he wants here. But for some reason, my opponent might have been inexperienced or something, because he definitely should have. Well, I guess it's dictated by his desires banished as well. Maybe he could not have. He couldn't have dumped a Nerval or something to make this tasty, but so maybe that's why he did that play. Yeah, that's probably why he did it, made his play that way, so that makes sense. So he's going to start with the Barrel Canaro to get the Cobalt Sparrow. So this is really good for him because it locks him into Exceeds, but he's still going to get a good amount of cards off of the Cobalt Sparrow. So he had Sapphire Swallow here, so I know that the other card in his hand is something that he can special summon off of this. So he's definitely going to try to go into F-Zero, and I bet would be something like Crash into Shrike and negate the search. So that would really put him in a good position, but I have Nibiru, so I'm feeling pretty safe here. So he's going to make Recital Starling. Yep, and then that's going to search him the card that he wants. Or I guess that wouldn't be the card in his hand, but that's the line that he's taking. So he's going to grab blue and special summon Wagtail. So Wagtail's going to get him the Bird Call. So one thing that you want to do here for sure is that you could Nibiru here, but you want to wait for them to make the second Recital Starling just to get it out of the way and make them commit even more. So now he no longer has that second Recital Starling in his extra deck, so I'm just going to nib him here. So the Rock comes down. That shuts down. That should shut down his turn since he can only Exceed summon. So Shrike is going to trigger. And I have 4 banished monsters, so I was thinking it's like, oh, like a Zudiath monster would be really good here, just in case, like if he had Veiler or something, so in my head I was thinking it's like, okay, I'm gonna grab the Zoo, because Thoroughblade's gonna give me piercing, so I'm gonna make. So in my head I was thinking I'm going to make Borbo and then put Tiger Mortar on top, and then I'm gonna use Tiger Mortar's effect to switch out the Borbo as material. For the second Thoroughblade for 3,200 to make lethal, or just attack him through that to make game. But when I added the Thoroughblade, I realized I had banished it, so that's kind of like leads back to the part of my combo video where I was telling you guys where I missed game because I banished this. So if you guys still have Zoo monsters in your extra deck, don't banish your Thoroughblades, just try to keep them in the graveyard. That's all. So and he sets a monster. So like if I had kept my Thoroughblade in here, that definitely would have been game, because it's 3,200 pierces through this this token, and then he's at 3,100, so he would have died. So I have to summon the Thoroughblade here, and then just attack into everything that he has. Okay, so he has Kit. So he had Kit in his hand. That's really strange, because he should have gone for a different. I think he could have gone for a different play with Fractal and Kit. So I'm maybe I take back the Pot of Desires thing. I'm not sure what he was thinking in his head there. That seems really strange. But I mean, we'll never know what his Desires banish was because the replay system's not that good yet. So hard to say. So now that he's got that, he's gonna get Nerval. So yeah, that's really strange. I don't understand why my opponent did that. That's really weird. Well, in any case, we know that he has a Tri-Brigade in his hand now, so I'm definitely going to make a Zeus here, so that I can at least have an interruption for his turn. So I only had the Boar Bow in my extra deck, so this Zeus is only going to have 3 materials, but I decided to just throw it under there anyway, just because if something were to happen to Nibiru or another card, like I could get another material and then under the Zeus and then just have an extra send. But he starts with the Fractal here, and the Fractal, like normal summoning Fractal with a loaded graveyard like this, forces Zeus. So I definitely have to Zeus here, otherwise he makes Shrike, and if I was a Zeus there, he would still get the Shrike trigger, and that's just not good for card advantage. So definitely dunk on the normal summon of that monster. And then he reveals the Turquoise in his hand. So he definitely makes, Assembled Nightingale here. And then that's going to get some materials and attach some Wagtails here. So I'm going to take a little bit of damage. And he's going to get a really juicy Zeus. Because I think he puts Downer Magician on top of this. Oh, but it doesn't make a difference because it's just 5 materials, right? Yeah, okay. Well, still, I mean, Zeus with 2 sends is really good here. So I'm thinking, well, Christ, like if he has this, like the only way I get out of the situation with the Zeus. Okay, so he does have 6 materials. Well, anyways, the only way I get out of the situation is if I top deck Impermanence. Kind of, right? And I do top deck it, so that was a really good top deck, but I have my Zeus here, so obviously not in the best of positions. So like I'm thinking, well, great, like I just have to pass here and hopefully he doesn't kill me. So end phase, he's definitely going to Zeus mine away so that he can attack. If he top decks a good monster, I'm definitely dead. Fortunately for me that he does not, so he's just going to attack me for 3,000 and pass turn. So I'm feeling pretty confident here. I draw Desires. I'm just going to play it. And my opponent has Ash, so he's probably feeling really good here because this is a good card for him to Ash. But unfortunately for him, I already drew the Impermanence. So I'm going to play Impermanence and negate his Zeus, summon Fractal, banish 4, summon my second Shrike, banish this, and then that's lethal. Here he just... I'm not sure what he was thinking. Maybe he's just BMing, but he's just gonna like dump everything with Zeus. But it's already been negated by the Impermanence, so it doesn't do anything. And then that gets off the board, and I probably swing for game. Alrighty, so looking back on that replay, my opponent was not the most skilled, but hopefully this little replay commentary will help some of you guys understand and visualize how I play this deck. It should also serve as a really good reminder to not banish your Thoroughblade if you can. If you guys like this content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. We'll definitely have more interesting stuff coming down the pipeline, so be sure to stay tuned. That's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.